Have you thought about moving from the US to the UK? It feels like a lot of people are thinking about it. If you're one of those people, a big question has to be, how do I get all my stuff to another country? Well, we just moved to the UK, and this is how we did it.
There's a lot of stuff here.
We're Wendy and Lawrence, and we've already released a video on how to live legally in the UK with our real-life experiences. It's all linked below. In this video, we'll show you the timeline for selling our house, selling all our stuff, and how we moved the boxes and boxes of stuff we kept over to England. And then there was the paperwork.
A lot has happened since we sat down to do one of these.
So settle in and get ready for one crazy ride. First things first, everything we discuss in the video relates to how Wendy and I moved from the US to the UK. You should absolutely reach out to professionals, whether financial, legal, or otherwise, to advise you for your move, as everyone's situation is completely different. And just for clarification, the United Kingdom, or UK as it's usually called, consists of 4 distinct countries: England, Scotland, Wales, and Northern Ireland. Everything we cover in this video can pretty much apply to any of those 4. To add a comparative wrinkle to this video, Wendy and I moved to England to live on the English canals in what's called a narrowboat. These unique vessels enjoy less square footage than a small apartment, so we got rid of much more stuff than you may need to if you're moving from a house to a house. But put an asterisk on that. Speaking of which, we'll start this video with selling your house. Simply because, as emotionally attached as you may be to your home, it's essentially a transaction that once it's done, it's done. And we cannot say that about moving your things over to the United Kingdom. Most people recommend selling your house in the US before moving to the UK. First up, it frees up capital or cash for your relocation costs, such as flights, shipping, and renting in the UK. And trust us, no matter what you think the cost will be, it will most likely be more. Other reasons for selling your home before moving is eliminating the stress of managing property from abroad. There was more than enough stress when Wendy and I moved without having to worry about renters or maintenance on a rental home. Finally, there can be tax implications if you sell your US home while you're living in the UK. With all this said, our timeline was to be in England by mid-2026. So let's see when we started the process of selling the house.
So it is the first weekend after we've had the realtor, and they call it a stager, come through the house and tell my wife what needs to be done, what needs to go. And if there's anything to make it real, this would be it, right?
Now we spend all of our spare time prepping the house for resale.
And purging all of our stuff.
Yes.
Everything that we spent 20 plus years, just over 20 years together.
20 years, and some stuff I actually brought to the marriage
I know.
as far as decor.
I know. Well, there's the chest of drawers that you let go earlier today. I never in a million years thought that you would get rid of that.
It is one heavy piece of furniture.
It is a heavy piece of furniture, and it would take up the whole bedroom on its own in the narrowboat. So
I
there
don't
you
know
go.
if it fit in the bedroom.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah, so okay.
All right.
Yeah, so these two have no idea what's in store for them. It's gonna be one emotional ride.
So I walked in the house, it's not my house.
It's a professionally staged house.
So my wife was here during the staging, and so we're at the staging part. And then what comes tomorrow?
Tomorrow they're going to come in and take photographs, professional photographs, not Wendy's photographs. Then Friday they'll deliver the sign and put the little lock on our front door and the sign that says for sale. And then officially that day we will be on the market. But they do what's called a private listing.
It's a private listing. Yes, I'm sorry. You can't see the listing, but you can. I'm sorry. It's a private listing. It's internal with this group of realtors. So if they have their clients there who are buying houses, it's like a little club, you know. Well, first of all, cheers.
Oh, cheers. This is a huge milestone.
It is a big milestone.
It has been a lot of work.
Yes.
And some money.
Yes.
To get this house and yard looking as good as it does. I mean, it was pretty decent before, but I wouldn't actually say it was show ready.
No, by no means. Well, cheers, baby.
Cheers, babe.
And this is what a staged house looks like. Well, it's mostly our stuff.
Today is an exciting day on so many levels. The biggest news is someone's actually looking at our house today
Yes.
to buy it.
Fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed. So we have, how many people have looked at our house so far?
3, I think. Yeah.
And it's been on the market at least as many months.
2 months?
2 or 3 months for
I think
sure.
we're coming
yeah.
up on 3.
Yeah. So,
As you can tell from, it's a pretty down market right now here in Austin.
yeah, it's tough because no one's having any traction on the houses, and actually having somebody come and look at it's a big deal. And this one here frantically cleaned the house today. I mean, literally hours and hours and hours. She fluffed the carpets where we normally walk in the bedrooms. I kid you not, it's true, right?
And then I lectured him that I'd already cleaned a certain room, so do not enter it under any circumstance.
Yeah, it was one of those moments where I don't care if you live here, you can't be in here. Go away. So that's really, really big news. So we got our fingers crossed that something's going to happen with that. Because as we're talking to you right now, sort of coming up towards the end of July, and the clock is a-ticking.
It's ticking fast, and we also have potentially moved up our timeline, so it's even less time than we thought. So even on the regular timeline, it's coming up fast. And if we're successful in escalating the timeline, it's coming up really, really fast.
And what do you do when you need to be out of your house? Go to a revolving sushi restaurant, of course. It is Wednesday, July 23rd. It is 3 days after we told you, and we're very excited that someone's going to come look at the house. And we did the whole revolving sushi thing. Well, they never came to look at the house. It led to a devastating weekend. And it's emotionally draining. The whole retirement journey is a challenge to begin with, but then when you're trying to sell basically a house that you've lived in for as long as we have and that we designed from scratch, it just makes it very, very hard to first of all come to terms with letting that go, and second of all, when you think nobody wants it, it's a tough emotional hill to climb. So the reason I'm telling you this today is because we have someone coming to look at it today. So we're very excited. We're on edge. And wish us luck that not only will someone actually come by today, but they'll want the house, because that would be a huge
stress reliever. It would just lift so much off our shoulders in this incredible journey to retirement.
By this point, we've given up on staging, and more importantly, paying for it. But there's always so much work to do before a showing.
All right, baby, big celebrations.
Yes, I'm excited and scared at the same time.
It's sort of like, be careful what you wish for, because when it's here.
Yes, I feel like I'm living in a heightened state of semi-panic.
So why don't you tell everyone what we're celebrating?
So we are celebrating the fact that we have a signed contract to sell our beautiful, gorgeous, very large home, and that has been a bit of a milestone.
Yes, it has.
It is challenging times economically.
Cheers. So yes, it has been tough. As a matter of fact, the last time, Wendy wasn't there, but the last time you and I chatted, I was talking about how the one weekend people didn't show up when they promised to show up to look at the house, and then we had someone else and we were crossing our fingers because we were feeling paranoid. But I think it's been about a month and a half since we chatted in the car, and we've had how many people come around the house in that time?
Well, have we 2 or 3? Which doesn't sound like a lot, but it was a bit of a desert before.
So when we were trying to sell our house, because you're seeing this way in the future, houses were not selling.
Not in Austin, Texas.
Right.
No.
In all the hot areas before, they weren't selling anymore.
Yes.
And not only were they not selling, but they would be on the market for longer, and the prices had to be lower. So we actually reduced our price twice now.
Yeah. Yep.
We brought it down from the initial amount by a bit, and then we had to do a big jump.
We did, but it worked because all of a sudden, I think we had maybe 5 showings when we initially had it, and that was what, 3+ months?
Right.
And during that we did drop a little, but then when we dropped quite a bit, then all of a sudden we had 3 showings in a week and a half.
The low price hit the listing. That's what they call it in the States. You list your house. It hit the listing, and that afternoon we had a showing.
Yes.
That's how quickly it happened.
Yes.
Actually, that was the showing that ended up offering the money.
Yes, so it was interesting because the realtor showed up and he was FaceTiming his client who was living in another city, and I thought, well, surely this isn't going to go anywhere, and it did. So just never doubt.
I think we lucked out to where we got a really good buyer. And the reason I say that is one of the things we asked for and are in the negotiations is because we needed 30 days in the house, and we're going to talk about this in a second, because our logistics from what we have to do now, this is why we're like, because we needed 30 days. And our realtor is like, listen, they're going to essentially charge you rent is what's going to happen, and you're going to have to leave a deposit and the whole 9 yards. We got it free. Basically, they said you can stay in. We have to sign a contract to say if the roof falls off or the plumbing goes, we're going to fix it for her, which is fair.
Which is fair.
Which is fair.
If it happened while we lived here,
Thank you.
we would have to fix it.
100%. So that has stopped us from being totally freaked out, because now we have a 30 extra days in the...
We were very freaked out, and although we've been doing a lot of purging, we haven't purged near enough. So now it's really, the rubber has hit the road at this point.
So because we're at a milestone, let's talk about what's next. So for those who've been with us on our journey, at the very beginning, we were going, we'll move to England in April or May of 2026. It'll be fine. And by the way, Chris Smithwood Boat Builders, thank you for being flexible with us moving the finish date for the boat. But we got to a point, for various reasons, both our financial planner said, nah, you're good, you can do it. And some other stuff, we're like, what's the difference between doing it in 2026 or doing it in 2025, the end of 2025? So when we're talking to you right now, it's just turned August.
Yep.
And
it's August 7th.
August 7th. We're in like the first full week of August. So to Wendy's point, we have to start getting rid of stuff. We have to start packing stuff, not just stuff that's going to go in storage in California, but stuff that we're going to send to England, and that has to be packed in a particular way because of the way it's being shipped. We have to go to Croatia. It sounds like we're slumming it, but we're really not. We have to go to Croatia for
a dear friend's wedding.
For an awesome person's wedding. So then we got to come back. As soon as we get back, this one's going to go nuts because she's racing against time to pull everything together for her spousal visa. The sooner we can get it in, the sooner that we know. So then the timeline of that is at the very, very latest, we're hoping by sometime in October finding out, because in November 1st, we want to be able to say, hey, we're retiring, which will allow us then in November to go to California, hang out with her family, drop off the stuff, and then be in England by December, middle December.
Yeah, we're trying to shoot for like mid-December, so to get ahead of all of the expensive flights for the holidays,
right.
And then to actually be there for Christmas with your family. Yay. That would be lovely.
It'll be the first Christmas I spent with my family in.
Yeah, how many years, babe?
It's decades. It's
Calculate it.
Yeah,
you're going to have to like put it on the screen when you figure it out.
Now that our house is sold, let's look at our timeline for sorting out our personal stuff for shipping. Before we dive into that, remember we said to put an asterisk on just how much stuff you can take, even if you're moving from a house in the US to a house in the UK? Well, houses in the UK are significantly smaller than American homes, often less than half the size on average. This means rooms can't accommodate larger pieces of American furniture, and even if they could, the stairs are narrower in the UK, making it difficult to move large pieces of furniture upstairs. Houses in the UK rarely have built-in closets, and not a lot of room for freestanding wardrobes and chests of drawers. And to make things even more complicated, beds used in the UK are different sizes to those found in the US. If you ever want to see this in real time, watch a few episodes of House Hunters International when they're looking at homes in the UK. What does all this mean? Well, you may have to downsize your stuff more than you realize.
There's a lot of stuff here. I'm a little overwhelmed right now.
Yeah, so we know we've got too many clothes for the narrowboat. We know that. And it's a little early, but we decided we start tackling thinning out the wardrobe.
Yes, we can do it in stages.
Right.
Because right now it's spring, so we're getting ready to go into summer. So we can sort of look at that, and then as we start approaching fall, we can come back and do another iteration of this. But this is probably the largest closet that we have. But then we have 3 or 4 others that are all of varying sizes. A couple of them are not quite as large as this, but almost, and they're full. So this is an overwhelming task.
Here's the irony of the whole thing. We actually, before we set a permanent date to go over to England and retire on the canal, we actually started thinning our wardrobe then.
Yes!
And then miraculously,
It grew.
it grew. So that's what we're going to do today. We're going to go through and do the tough test of screening our clothes.
Oh my God, honey.
What?
Honey, do you know what this is?
No.
It is my wedding dress,
No.
which unfortunately is not going to make the narrowboat.
As we go through the processes of downsizing and shipping our stuff, remember, at this point, our target date to move to the UK was mid-2026. That means we were doing all this purging over 2 years before our move.
Sorry.
We just sold the Camaro. They came and picked it up.
My husband doesn't cry. He actually doesn't. He might tear up, but he doesn't actually, no tears actually fall. But he got a little misty-eyed.
Yeah. Cheers. Here's to the next step.
So what is this?
This is the trial run for the crates that we are having to order so that we can pack them to ship our stuff over. We're using U-Pack We Ship. We're hoping to only have 2. They're supposed to be 45 by 76, but this is actually the interior measurement, which is slightly smaller. So we're hoping to have 2, not 3. So we're doing a test run. I also have to create the customs paperwork, the transfer of residency that's required. So I have to know exactly what's in each box and how many boxes. I also have questions on what we can and cannot ship, so I'll be going to the Facebook group and asking those questions. But this is the start because we only have 3 weeks before we evacuate and move into our kind friend's house who's letting us stay there. But we want to be able to take these boxes over already packed so that when we get there, we can order the crates to actually be delivered there, and then they will be picked up from there as well.
So the idea is we pack everything here because it's going to be moved anyway, so you might as well have it in the boxes. And then at the same time, what we're also going to be doing is we are going to go through and cull our clothing as well because we only have so many sets of suitcases. So there's 2 ways of moving stuff over there. We're gonna take the stuff we actually need day for day because there's going to be about 6 months before we're actually on the narrowboat. So for our homeless period, living with my mother, renting the narrowboat, getting an Airbnb, we're gonna be living out of these suitcases that we take over. Then this stuff is actually gonna be shipped directly to our boat builder. And Chris, because he's an awesome guy,
Chris.
has offered to store this for us where our narrowboat's being built. And this will be the stuff that we only need once we're physically on the boat. So, exciting day. Yay! It's momentous.
It is. I mean, we've already been paring down and selling furniture and that sort of thing, but now the rubber hits the road.
Yeah.
Everything that we need for the narrowboat needs to fit into 2 small crates. So it's really just sort of personal effects, clothing, a lot more winter clothes than we're accustomed to because we've always lived in hot climates. And just, I like to cook, so I have some expensive cookware. So that's definitely going over.
Awesome. All right, well, let's get to it, babe.
All right.
So this, in some ways, is possibly the easiest, but in some ways the hardest to sort out what you're going to take. Because all the guys out there will tell you, you spend a lifetime accumulating all your garage stuff. Screws, nails, knickknacks, all the little bits that you use to do the handy jobs around the house. Question is, how much do I take with us?
For corded tools, a heavy-duty transformer is needed to prevent damage. US tools and appliances run on 110 to 120 volts, while the UK uses 230 to 240 volts. At the very minimum, advice is given to use a step-down transformer to avoid frying the motor or device. But there are still challenges with corded tools or appliances. Electrically, current runs on 50 Hz in the UK, meaning anything plugged in will run slower. However, devices such as laptops and battery chargers for cordless devices that use a power brick can accept everything from 100 volts up to 240 volts. Now, I'm not saying there wasn't some nervousness when plugging in my US laptop power brick into a UK 240 volt plug using the adapter, but thankfully everything is working correctly. We have both plug adapters and adapter strips to help us with our US devices. But like everything else in this video, use the Facebook groups we've linked to below and do your own research for your particular devices and electronics.
I mean, like these things, chisels. I've seen people on narrowboat videos actually do work around their narrowboat, and I just don't know how handy this is going to be. And the other challenge is, I'm really concerned about our storage. I don't know how much room we're going to have on the narrowboat.
Even if you're moving to a house, you might want to bear in mind just how much space you'll have for your tools and other garage stuff once you move to the UK.
What's here, baby?
Our pallets?
Our pallets. Our pallets are here.
Is that 2 pallets?
Wendy wants to know if all the pieces we'll need for 2 completed pallets are in the delivery. One thing we learned is the delivery drivers are very nice, hard-working individuals, but their only job is to deliver what's on the truck. They really don't know beyond the bill of lading what's in your package, or anything about shipping pallets to the UK. U-Pack We Ship are very clear about making sure everything you'll need has been included in your kit as soon as possible. Because we're overachievers, we'll do that now. Now that everything is set for the next step of shipping our crates, let's discuss a phrase you'll become very familiar with if you're going to be moving to the UK. You'll need to complete a Transfer of Residence form, or TOR as it's called in the Facebook groups. This form allows individuals moving to the UK to import personal belongings, household goods, vehicles, and even pets, duty and tax-free. There are qualifiers on who can apply for a tour and what can be included, so feel free to check out the official government website linked below for details, or of course, the Facebook groups. You need to apply online for the tour, but you should work closely with your shipper in regards to a very important URN number needed for your stuff to clear customs. The tour itself takes about 2 to 6 weeks to get approved, but you can start your tour form early and add to it until it's ready to be submitted. Finally, you don't have to go into too much detail about the contents you're shipping. More of an overview. We've linked to a great resource, and of course you can search the Facebook groups as well for more detailed advice. Today is the day the crates are being picked up. It's a day of 2 parts. First, we need to assemble the crates and pack them. They're scheduled to be picked up mid-morning, so we're out bright and early to get it done. The pallets or crates need to be on flat ground, so we have to position them on the street. Out of the way, of course. And obviously, there is some precision to this. Although it felt like overplanning in the beginning, the idea of labeling the boxes not only with its contents, but where the box will sit in the crate is really paying off now. Our method was B for bottom, N for middle, and T for top, and then numbered accordingly. If you're wondering where Wendy is during all this, she's doing some last-minute packing. How exactly did we determine the order of the boxes? We're loading the heaviest on the bottom of the crate and the lightest on the top.
Nice. And this is how you pack for England.
Well, this is how you pack. I stood around and did nothing.
Oh, that's so not true. And
You're the one that's sweating, not me.
Yeah,
That tells you.
if you pack We Ship, want to use this as an instructional video because we were so spot on in so many ways, we'll talk about the fee that you want to do that. But we did it, baby.
We did. Now we get to wait from 10 to 6. That's
Yes.
our window.
Yes, we do. Yeah,
They
so.
did mention it'll probably be the afternoon rather
Yeah.
than the morning.
So this is it. We hope if you're about to do this, you've learned something from our videos and a couple of missteps we had along the way. So yeah, this is it. Very exciting.
The pallets were picked up later the same day.
How you feeling right now, baby?
It's exciting.
A little surreal, right?
Well,
Say goodbye to everything we own in this world, because that's it right there.
except for our 5 suitcases.
Except for our 5 suitcases. And each other and the car. But aside from all that, nothing.
Well, the car not very much longer.
This is true.
Wendy even helped with the loading.
Now?
Yes, ma'am. Just hold it now. Don't be scared of it now.
Okay.
We're not gonna lie, it was very strange seeing our most worldly possessions just drive off. The pallets were picked up on November 6, 2025, arrived in the UK on January 7th, 2026, and they were delivered to our boat builder's yard on January 13th, 2026. You can ship your stuff in several ways, from individual suitcases, smaller crates as we did, or entire cargo containers. Check out the numerous Facebook groups to get feedback on shippers you may be interested in, but be warned, not everyone has the same experiences. There were some bad reviews about U-Pack We Ship, and while we did get some misinformation which led to short-term frustrations, the crates did make it from the US to the UK, and overall, we are happy with our experience. Now, at the time of making this video, we haven't actually opened our crates yet. Maybe come back and check out our comments for an update, or subscribe to our YouTube channel and you'll be notified when we post the momentous moment of unloading our crates. We hope this video has helped. At the very least, if it gives you a better idea around the life-changing decision to move to another country, we're happy to do our small part. We know this isn't an easy decision. It's even harder to make it happen. Remember, you're not alone. There are others who have done it before you, experienced all the challenges, the doubts and frustrations. Our best advice is to surround yourself with those people. Let them help you through all the emotions of turning your life upside down and moving to another country. And when you're done, remember to pay it forward and help those who are considering this journey. As for journeys, if you like travel, why not check out our travel adventures featured on this same YouTube channel? If you're curious to see what life is like living on an airboat cruising the English canals, we'll be showing that side of our lives as well. Finally, if there's a part of moving from the US to the UK we haven't covered on our Love to Travel channel, let us know and we'll see if we can help. You can help us by liking this video with a thumbs up. And what the heck? Why not subscribe for more travel fun? Until next time, my friend, travel well and be safe.